everyone, this is Eugene Roddenberry.
Dr. Mohammed Noor.
Adam Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy's son.
This is Leonard Crowfoot.
This is Dr. Aaron McDonald, Star Trek Science Advisor and Lieutenant Commander McDonald on Star Trek Prodigy.
And you're listening to
Humanist Trek.
Humanist Trek.
You're listening to Humanist Trek.
the Humanist Trek Podcast.
And you're listening to Humanist Trek, a fabulous, fabulous show.
Enjoy.
And don't worry, you can do your Temporal Mechanics 101 homework later.
I connected so hard with Geordi in this moment because these texts are like page one tech support script shit, like power off, power on, check for driver updates, shit like that. And Geordi's screaming, I already did all of that.
These kids just got their A+ certification, so they're just just looking, checking IRQs and stuff like that.
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Welcome aboard. Jean-Luc Picard to the Starship Enterprise.
You want to review your rapid progress?
That nonsense is centuries behind us. To the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, yeah?
That is enough, damn it!
Tempo, mon capitan.
To the Starship Enterprise.
But you can't deny that you're still a dangerous, savage child race.
Of the planet Earth.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
Jolan True, and welcome to Humanist Trek. It's a comedy Star Trek podcast about the humanism in Star Trek. I'm Sarah Ray.
And I'm Allie Ashmead.
And Allie, my Jeep is in the dealership right now.
Oh, that sucks.
It sucks so hard. So, as you know, I run a kitchen at an elementary school, and so I have to get up at the ass crack of dawn to leave to get there to make breakfast for the kids. And we got up the other morning and went to start the Jeep, and it turned over and ran for 3 seconds and then shut off. And we did all the troubleshooting things that you can do. The little dash light was on, and that was the anti-theft system. And so everything we figured out was like that was the culprit. And of course, you can't just take that to any mechanic. It has to go to the dealership, which is fucking stupid.
Right.
And the closest dealership is hot garbage. The last time we went there, it was just awful. So we're never going back there again. So I had to call my boss at 5:30 in the morning and be like, hey, can you come pick me up and take me to work? Which is not a fun phone call, but I have an awesome boss. She's amazing. She's like, whatever. She's like, do you want me to take your kids to school too? Like, whatever you need me to do. Yeah,
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Best boss ever. So Becca had to get this thing towed because we couldn't get it to start. We tried all the tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Lock it manually, unlock it manually. Lock it with the button, unlock it with the button, unplug the battery for 30 minutes, plug the battery back in. None of this shit worked.
Something's gone wrong with the computer. Something's off with the warp engine.
Yep. So she had it towed to the dealership, which, we can't fucking afford. As you know, we're like close to losing the house anyway. And there's a whole nother story about that you and I haven't had. Regretting my decisions. We should have put this house on the market the day we decided to go into this forbearance agreement with the mortgage company. Don't ever do that. Sell your house.
Yeah.
Our credit is destroyed now. Even if we wanted to sell the house, we couldn't. Nobody would give us a loan to buy another one, a cheaper one.
Right.
But anyway, I digress. So now our car's in the shop, so we got to worry about that too. And we're paying for a rental, which we can't afford. Patreon.com/humanisttrek. Thanks everybody. And
oh, sorry.
So we had this thing towed to the shop. She walked from the dealership to the rental car place to get a rental car. And so that's what we're doing now. We're waiting to hear back. They were like, it's going to be at least 3 days to diagnose it.
Why?
Because it's a dealership, and dealerships fucking suck.
They will fuck you so hard and charge you at the yin-yang.
Yep.
And why does it take 3 days for you to get on a computer and diagnose
and you had to make an appointment to drop it off. What? If I make an appointment, you ought to take that vehicle and look at. If I make an appointment to go anywhere, I am seen at my appointment time. What, you're just going to let it sit in the shop for 3 days and then maybe somebody will have a chance to look at it? What the fuck?
So it sounds like the appointment is just for intake.
Yeah.
And then okay,
Correct.
then you got to wait.
Yeah, then I'll get to it when I can. Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. Anyway, So that's what we're doing now. And, again, I got one kid at the school here, one kid at the school on the other side of the county, and me at another school on a different corner of the county, all over the county every day.
Yeah.
Good times. But this is what happens. You remember there something else needed. Oh, the brakes, the rotors were shot. Remember that just a month ago? We just rolled 100,000 miles not too long ago, and so now shit is just falling apart.
I swear it's almost programmed to do it. Like they want you to come back in. They're depending on they don't have a warranty, so they're gonna stick you. Sucks.
Anyway, so that's what's going on in my world. And speaking of taking the vehicle to the dealership, that's how this week's episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation starts. It's season 2, episode 14. The Icarus Factor.
Nice.
Commander, you'll soon be getting an intruder alert.
What? I've got something, sir.
Intruder alert, sir.
It's an old-style starship, sir. Constellation class, heading this way under impulse comm.
Number 1, kindly take charge of our guests until we have time to decide what we're going to do with them. Sir, number 1, keep them out of my way.
Picard is heading to drop off the D at the nearest dealership because there's some check engine lights and shit on the dashboard. And Picard, Riker, Geordi, and Data are in engineering talking about these dashboard lights. It's such a minor discrepancy, but Picard says, well, we're stopping off at Starbase Montgomery anyway, so we'll just have them pop the hood and take a look.
Yeah. Data's like, it's probably nothing. It's probably insignificant. Don't worry about it. And then Riker's like, well, what if you're wrong? And then LaForge is like, don't worry, my ego's not at stake. It's, I know the engineering is my baby, But Data has a great idea. He's like, maybe we can reprogram the system to correct the readout variables.
Yeah. Plug the little computer thingy into the thing under the dash and hit reset, clear all the codes, and then see what happens.
Turn it on and off again. Yeah.
It also turns out there's some personnel transfers happening at the Starbase, and Riker asks, boarding or disembarking? Because he's worried that annoying Benzite guy might be coming back. But before Picard can answer, Wesley calls down from the bridge to let us know that we're close enough to the Starbase to ring him up.
So then Picard says, hey, Will, can you join me in the observation lounge when you're done? So he doesn't really elaborate on whether someone's boarding or disembarking.
This is like, for a person with anxiety, holy shit, don't do this.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah, nah, you do this to me all the time. No, you're like, oh, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, what?
What? And then I don't. No, you're right.
And then, I'm like, what? Fucking tell me. And then then you're like, wait a minute. And then I'm sitting here like dying. And
okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
You do that all the time. So yeah, I get it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It is.
No, I guess. Wow.
You do it all the time. It drives me nuts.
Man.
He's like, oh, I got something to...
I will make an active effort not to do that. Because I know how it feels. It feels like shit. I didn't even think about that. Oh my God.
Tell me. And I'm sitting there staring at you and you're pecking away on your computer trying to pull up something. I'm like, what? And you won't tell me. But you haven't done it in a while, so.
Okay, good.
Kudos on that. Kudos.
Call me out when I do it, though.
Oh, I do. I'm like, stop.
Well, it turns out this meeting isn't anything like the boss wants to see you and nobody's going to tell you what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to worry about. Riker arrives and Picard's like, hey, the captain of the Ares is retiring and you have been selected to replace him. Congratulations. Sure going to miss you around here.
He's like, whoa, wait a minute. So the Ares is in the Vega Omicron sector, which is months away, even at warp. They've, I guess, picked up some intelligent life and nothing's confirmed. So it's going to be quite an adventure for Riker. And that's kind of why they're asking for him, but for his skill as an explorer and a diplomat. So it's exciting. And then Picard just assumes he's going to take it. And he's like, hope this isn't premature, but congratulations.
The captain of the starship Ares is retiring. Congratulations. You've been selected as his replacement. Well, you have 12 hours to think it over. And if it's not too premature, congratulations, Captain.
The Enterprise rolls up to a planet. Where's the starbase? I thought starbases were orbital.
I guess it's on a planet. I don't know. That's a good
Guess.
point. You know what? I didn't even realize that. You're right.
Anyway, Picard tells Riker that a civilian advisor is being brought on board to brief him on the Ares mission, a strategic attaché with specialized knowledge in the frontier regions. And down in the transporter room, Riker is very surprised when his own father, Kyle Riker, beams in. He is the civilian advisor.
You could freeze a glass of water in that room. There's so much. It's icy. It's so icy. The minute he sees his dad, he's like, so you're the attaché. And he had asked Picard not to say anything because he didn't want to make him nervous or excited, or he just wanted the shock factor. I don't know.
Yeah, the writers wanted a big reveal here.
Yeah.
Kyle Riker is played by Mitchell Ryan. He was in a ton of television. He got first noticed for 107 episodes of Dark Shadows, which I've never seen.
Maybe once or twice. I was so young that I don't remember it, but I think my mom watched.
Yeah, he was in everything. He did 36 episodes of Santa Barbara. Just tons of credits, this guy.
I hear him and I see him, and I always thought that he in Mission Impossible, but I didn't see that in his credits.
He kind of has that look about him, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's not like that era, but I didn't see that in his credits. But I always thought, was he Mission Impossible at all? But I don't think so.
We learned a little bit about this relationship last week when Bill was scrambling eggs. But this is even more uncomfortable than we were led to expect. Like, they haven't seen each other in 15 years, and Kyle wants to just act like everything's cool, congratulates him, tells him, I'm proud of you, boy. But Bill is ice cold, and he tells the transporter dude to call for security to escort this gentleman to his quarters, and tells his dad to get settled, and then we'll do this mission briefing. Otherwise, I got shit to do. Bye-bye.
Oh, business.
What sort of business do you suppose he is getting down to?
I really wish we had gotten O'Brien as the transporter operator for that scene. Like, we see Kyle sort of deflate after Bill leaves. And I think a quick glance between him and O'Brien would have been great. Like, O'Brien would have given him that, like, knowing, like, warm smile of like, it kind of sucks, huh? But
yeah, O'Brien is good at those face acting. He's
yeah.
All it takes is one raised eyebrow, one smirk of the lips or something, and you just know what he captures the mood of the room. And
yeah,
I love him. I adore him. But yeah, you're right. Meanwhile, after that, in the corridor, Wesley is walking beside Worf, and somehow he knows all the goss. And he's like, hey, did you hear about Commander Riker's promotion? And his father's here too. He didn't know his father was coming. He's totally surprised. Blah, blah, blah. Worf is just like, so?
Boy, shut the fuck up. I ain't got time for your shit.
I adore that boy. So then Wesley goes on. He's like, can you imagine if it was your father? And Worf is like, I never knew my father. And Wesley's like, well, I didn't have my father long enough to know him. And Worf is just not trying to hear this. And Wesley's like, well, everybody needs somebody. And Worf just yells at him, enough. And poor Wesley is just stunned as Worf keeps walking.
Down in engineering, Geordi is annoyed about all these techs from the starbase mucking about. I connected so hard with Geordi in this moment because these techs are like page 1 tech support script shit, like power off, power on, check for driver updates, shit like that. And Geordi's screaming, I already did all of that. Why are you making me do this all over again? And they just ignore
These kids just got their A+ certification, so they're just just checking IRQs and stuff like that nobody looks at anymore. Yeah.
Wesley drops by to talk to Geordi because he has decided something is super serious with Worf. There's something bothering him, and he's just got to figure it out.
I love that. I love this whole subplot.
Mm-hmm.
It's, first of all, I love Wesley. He's so sweet, and he's just he's a teenager, but he's such a caring teenager. And I love that LaForge, even though he's super busy and super annoyed, doesn't blow him off.
Mm-hmm.
And so because he's coming down to engineering to complain that Worf is being weird, and of course Worf's always weird according to Geordi. And Geordi's like, well, maybe he's just, not looking forward to losing Commander Riker. But Wesley thinks it's something else. And they don't brush him off. He listens to Wesley.
Mm-hmm. In 10 forward, Dr. Pulaski is throwing back drinks at the bar, and across the room, Bill, Riker, and O'Brien are sharing a drink, and O'Brien's trying to get Riker to talk about what's bothering him. Woman, career, worse, family.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of family, Kyle Riker comes into 10 forward, and immediately people start recognizing him. He's some kind of well-known celebrity dude, like everybody knows this guy, including one Kate Pulaski, who just last week didn't let on at all that she knew him.
Yeah.
And not just that it seems like she knows him. She knows him, knows him.
She knows and knows him. Man, they fucked. Because they totally fucked.
Yeah, she leaps up out of her bar stool and runs over to him for a kiss and a hug. And the reaction from Riker and O'Brien was fantastic. Riker's like, wait, he knows her? And O'Brien's like, I know her too, but we don't do that.
I love
So
O'Brien.
good.
I love O'Brien.
Yeah, he's the best.
So back in engineering, they've pulled Data in on this what's wrong with Worf scheme. And Data's like, it doesn't have any, you don't think it has anything to do with Riker leaving? Wesley's like, no, it's not that. LaForge is like, well, maybe you're overreacting. He's like, nah, I'm telling you, something's not normal with him. And then, of course, Data looks at it from a logical standpoint. There's, of course, a genetic predisposition towards hostility among Klingons, but Worf has been unusually out of sorts. This whole exchange is funny and sweet. LaForge doesn't have anything nice to say about Klingons. He's like, well, he's never been much on charm. Wesley just says, he's our friend. We got to help him. And he's looking for suggestions. So Data is like, let's do an empirical study, monitor the subject. And Wesley's like, yeah, okay, right. Look for any signs of unusual behavior. And Wesley's like, when do we start? No, you do it. You found the problem. You do it.
But again, Geordi is not completely dismissive. He's just like, hey, we're kind of busy. You want to do this thing? That's great. We'll help you, if you need help. But you're the lead on this project.
Yeah, and I still, it's still really sweet. They do care.
Yep. Riker's had enough watching his dad mac on the doctor from across the room, so he gets up to leave, and of course he has to walk past them. And Pulaski invites him to join, Kyle too, but Riker's still up in his feelings and keeps it all business. Ready for that briefing whenever you are. And he storms out.
Worf, did you hear about Commander Riker's promotion?
Yes.
He didn't know his father was coming. He was completely surprised.
So?
Can you imagine if it was your father?
I never knew my father.
And I didn't have a father long enough to know him.
It is a waste of time to think of such things.
I wasn't thinking about it, but everybody needs somebody.
Enough!
Well, it didn't take long for Data and Geordi to get roped into this Wesley's research project because they're up in 10 forward where Kate and Kyle are still chatting. And it seems like Kyle's thinking about what might have been, but she's not interested in going down that road. And apparently Pulaski married and divorced several times, which I thought was a great thing to include in the Star Trek world. And especially when you consider the culture that we come from where, the Christian whatever of divorce is bad.
Yeah, she was married 3 times, and then apparently they're all still good friends. So
yeah,
good
way to show that relationships don't relationships aren't going to last forever. Some do, some don't. It's all normal. Get over your shit.
Yeah,
she's good friends with all of them, but it's a little different than her relationship with Kyle. She says, "Oh, those other men were more in touch with themselves." And he's like, what the fuck? That was cold. He's like, hey, could somebody help me pull this knife out of my back?
Well, then she goes on to call him crusty. Like,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
nice. But she's like,
Nope.
you're crusty. You've got a reputation for being hard as nails and getting the job done, but you're not so bad. Some of us even love you, but then there's your son that you're doing a shit job of being a dad.
On the other side of the bar, Geordi and Data are observing Worf, contemplatively staring out the window. Apparently, Wesley made up some bullshit about having to study to talk them into doing this for him. And Geordi's like, Data, I can't believe you fell for that.
I got homework, but it's so funny.
Data is the pushover parent.
Yeah.
I'm the pushover parent. I recognize this in myself.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
Yeah. Oh, the kids know if they come to me, I'm more likely to say yes. I'm more likely to do the things. We did this whole fucking birthday weekend thing with my daughter recently. She had a friend come over, and we went to the paint and sip place, and they did a painting from this K-pop Demon Hunters that everybody's fucking obsessed with right now.
Yeah.
And then the friend spent the night, and we did like ice cream cake from Dairy Queen. We had a whole big old birthday weekend. And then on her actual birthday comes to me and says, I really want to do something on my birthday. So I took her downtown and we played mini golf.
Sarah says yes to everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took her to play mini golf on her birthday. Just me and her.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I'm the pushover. Anyway, Data makes a good point here. It's hard to tell if Worf is acting strange when he's just standing there alone, staring out a window. What we need is some external stimulus, and then watch the reaction. Geordi's like, Data, you're an idiot. You better leave him alone. And Data thinks maybe Worf is just lonely, so he's going to go over and relieve his loneliness. Bless you, Data.
I love it because he goes over, he touches Worf on the shoulder.
Okay, number one, don't fucking tap me.
Yeah.
When I'm in a mood especially when I'm in a mood like that, you tap me,
That just
do it.
gets your hackles up even more. But of course, Data doesn't know. He's just he doesn't have any feelings about it. He's just like,
right.
let's do this experiment. And so he goes and taps him. He's like, excuse me, Lieutenant, you seem to lost the will to communicate with others. But you have friends here and we care about you. And then why just recently Geordi and I were and Wesley were saying, and then Worf just fucking goes off. He's like, with all due respect, be gone, sir.
And Data, like tail between his legs, goes back to Geordi like, oops. And they leave.
There's your proof, though.
Speaking of solitude, Bill is looking at old pictures on his laptop in his quarters alone when Worf rings the doorbell. Worf's got something on his mind, but first he notices the picture on the laptop. Little Billy Riker holding up a fish he'd just caught, except he didn't catch it. He hooked it, and then his dad did that thing where he was like, oh, my kid can't handle this, and I'm going to take the rod away from him and bring it in myself. Fathers and sons, huh?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling the things that like a grown man or woman will look at a photo and of something seemingly minute that happened, but it just like stays with them so hard.
Yeah.
Like he's a 30-some-year-old man now, and he's still carrying that, like, I don't know what you call it, but
it's almost a kind of trauma.
Yeah,
it's like my dad didn't trust me to do this by myself.
Yeah, and that shit stays with you no matter how old you are.
Anyway, Worf dropped by because he wants to go with Riker to his new command. Riker's like, whoa, slow down, buddy. I haven't even accepted the offer. And Worf's arguments for wanting to go are the best Worf arguments that there are. The mission is dangerous, and there could be an opportunity to die a true hero in battle.
My goodness.
So that's certainly in character. He's not out of character with this.
Yeah.
Riker goes to the observation lounge to finally get this mission briefing from his dad, but Papa wants to talk about personal stuff and basically gives Bill a USB drive with everything he needs to know. And Kyle tries to have the hard conversation. I've been hearing great things about you, son, but Bill's like, okay, then why didn't you ever call? And at this point, Kyle has some choices. He could have played the phone calls are a two-way street, you never called me either card. But instead, he's like, dude, parenting is hard. There's no manuals. We're all just out here fucking making shit up as we go along. Fake it till you make it or not.
Yeah.
And he tries to talk about how things changed when Mrs. Riker died. But Bill's had enough and excuses himself to go study the mission briefing. Kyle's like, I came here to try to make amends, like, especially considering this danger that you're heading into on this mission. But Bill just walks out.
Has he not been watching Star Trek The Next Generation?
Right.
And they're in danger like every week.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. You seem to have lost the will to communicate with others. You have friends here. We care about you. Why, just recently, Geordie Wesley and I were saying...
With all due respect, be gone! Sir.
In sickbay, Kyle is nosing around after Pulaski while she's at work, and she's treating somebody for the flu, and they gush about her bedside manner. And
okay.
Yeah, I know, right? And
Beverly would like a word.
Yeah, I would like a word.
Mm-hmm.
She's talking about how she cared when they hurt, I hurt. Bullshit, whatever. And then she's like, Pulaski's chicken soup is something also that is a remedy for the flu, whatever. But then Troy comes in and says, yeah, she's got so much empathy. It's her greatest skill. And then she introduces herself and she says, you must be Riker's father. We've all heard about you. And I felt certain things, and he pegs her as a betazoid too. And then so Pulaski says, Deanna's job is to keep us from deluding ourselves as a betazoid. And then she's like, excuse me, I have work to do. And he feels like he's being set up.
And he is. Pulaski and Troy have conspired to force him into therapy.
Oh, hate that.
And Troy's like, look, your son and I used to fuck. I just want to help.
Yeah.
So they talk about this situation. Kyle came here to repair the relationship with his son, but found it impossible. And they kind of toss this ball back and forth a little until Troy explains that honesty is the trait Bill admires most. She accuses Kyle of being competitive with his son, and he agrees he used to be, but then he tries to turn the conversation back on her. He's like, I came here to help my son prepare for his first mission as captain, and he will obviously accept it because it's dangerous, because that's who he is, because that's what I would do. And we're not really that far apart. The nut doesn't fall too far from the tree,
And she's like, how can you be so sure?
Picard drops by Bill's quarters discussing this mission briefing, including their first officer, Commander Flaherty, who has an incredible linguistic ability. He speaks at least 40 languages, which would be super useful on a mission in the Vega Omicron sector. Man, I wish I could speak too. My fucking Duolingo just lets me down left and right.
If you were stuck, let's say you were stuck in Mexico, you'd learn it pretty quick.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm learning from my coworkers little bits at a time. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel this whole episode feels a little like a soap opera because
it is.
But I like the mundane stuff. Like this is they're not fighting aliens or anything. It's all internal, and I live for this. I love this type of episode.
Yep, super character driven stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The doorbell rings and it's Kyle. Bill's eyes roll so far back in his head because Kyle comes in and he's like, oh, Captain Picard, I'm so excited to finally meet you. Like, and you would have think this would have happened a whole lot sooner. Mm-hmm. It's not like Picard has been tied up with external alien bullshit. He's just been fucking around.
He's probably in the holodeck. He's probably been in the holodeck. But yeah, he would, like, I don't know, maybe he was just giving them space,
Maybe. Anyway, Kyle thanks him for his mentorship of Bill, and they agree that he's ready for his own command. And Kyle asks for some privacy to talk with his son, and Picard leaves, and right away, Riker is defensive. He feels like he's being pushed into this command, but Kyle reminds him this is just Starfleet hiring the right candidate for the job. Like, you are ready for this. And he tells his son, I'm here if you need me, but the anger and resentment is still pretty hot, and Bill tells him, look, I've been taking care of myself since I was 15. I don't fucking need you. No reason to change that now.
Gosh, lots of bitterness there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In engineering, LaForge is kind of like feeling bad about all this checking that they're doing. Like he's thinking, like, what if I missed something? And of course, Data is trying to make him feel better. But the computer would have corrected it if you had. But then Wesley blows in, and he's like, "I figured out Worf's problem." He had done some research on the Google, and he accessed the complete Klingon cultural database, and he figured out that today is the 10th anniversary of Worf's Age of Ascension, which is some ceremony, like a ritual that they go through at a certain age. It's a rite of initiation marking a new level of Klingon spiritual attainment. So did they celebrate the anniversary of that, I guess?
Apparently.
Anyway, it's a day of celebration, and it's usually spent with fellow Klingons, which Worf doesn't have any. But LaForge is like, hey, but we're his friends. But they don't practice this religion, or they don't really know a lot about this culture. And maybe he's feeling isolated and lonely. So suggestions, we can program the ship computer to supply simulations on the holodeck. That's from Data. And LaForge is like, holographic Klingons? Yeah, what could go wrong? That's fine. But then Wesley's like, well, the Klingon's family has to attend. And LaForge is like, again, we're his friends. We're his family. So we'll go. Just wondering what kind of Klingon party this is going to be.
I love this, though. I love this so much.
I do too, and I love that boy. He's so thoughtful, and I don't know whoever says anything bad about Wesley, fuck you. Like fuck you completely. He's such a good kid.
Bill drops by sickbay to apologize to Dr. Pulaski for being kind of a dick earlier. But instead, she drops some knowledge on him about something that happened to his father 12 years ago during the time Bill wasn't speaking to his father. He was a civilian strategist advising Starfleet about the Tholians, and the starbase he was working at was attacked. Everyone died except for Kyle. So he'd been through some stuff. He's got his own trauma. But he and Pulaski fell in love, and she would have married him, but he had other priorities. And Bill snarkily adds, yeah, his career, I know. And Pulaski flips it on him. She's like, you don't know. Isn't it about time you jettison all this emotional baggage you've been dragging around behind you all these years?
Well, I didn't ask you for your opinion, Pulaski. That's what I wanted to say. I'm like, who the fuck asked you? But that's okay. I gotta tone down the hate on her. So. Fine.
Okay, how would it have played differently if it had been Troy? Interesting that Pulaski is the one in this position because she used to fuck his dad, where Troy would, I think, be the more correct choice to sit Bill down, having fucked him, and say, hey, listen, I know how you feel about your dad.
Right.
Let's work through this. Like, I'm here for you, Imzadi. We got this.
Yeah, but yeah, I felt like I didn't like her saying that to him. I didn't feel like she had any right, and he didn't. That's why I was like all defensive. Like, I didn't ask you for your opinion.
Poor guy picked up the flu virus at our last stop at Nasruddin.
Sounds nasty. What's the therapy?
Pulaski's chicken soup.
You've got to be kidding. Come on.
In engineering, Wesley is still going on about this Klingon ritual. Something about an unusual test of inner strength, which Data adds involves Klingon pain sticks. Enduring physical suffering is considered a Klingon spiritual test. Okay.
And they're like, and we have to witness this? Yeah, because we're his family.
Riker rings the bell at Picard's ready room, and he asks Picard if he thinks he'd be foolish to turn down this promotion. Picard's like, well, that's a question only you can answer. I can tell you that you're choosing between this glamorous job on the flagship. We have our own TV show, action figures, and such. You'd be going to an insignificant ship with no TV show or action figures, but it would be your ship, your vision, your leadership. Not sure that helped at all.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm going to need some more time. they're switching back and forth. This is such a soap opera. So they're back in engineering, and O'Brien is talking to LaForge, and he's seeing if they found anything yet. And no, they haven't. And Data's like, there's nothing to find. And O'Brien's like, well, there's no harm in checking. And so then LaForge says to O'Brien, well, how would you like it if they were going over your precious baby transporter? And he's like, that'd be fine. We're working fine. But Data says, well, if I was not a consummate professional and if I was not an android, I'd be insulted.
I love this. This is Data being Geordi's BFF'll. Like, Geordi's like, I'm mad because they even think there's a problem. Like, they're second guessing me. Right. I'm the fucking chief engineer.
I'm taking it personally. And and
Data's like, I would too. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
What a great friend.
It's so much friendship going around, like the subplot of family happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then they switch to another part of engineering where Wesley's talking to somebody, and Wesley asks Chief O'Brien, hey, you want to attend a little party for Worf? And he's like, a party for Worf? He doesn't even hesitate. He's like, yeah, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. And it's a surprise, so don't say anything. Yeah. I love it.
We get a touching moment in Troy's office where Bill has come to say goodbye. And they make an attempt at keeping this profesh, but it quickly becomes personal. She laments that she can't read his emotions right now, and he suggests maybe her emotions are getting in the way. She says it's her job to do this other people's emotion stuff, not my own. My own emotions aren't important, but they are important to him. Come on, guys, you're Imzadi.
Yeah. But they fall into each other's arms. She's crying, and it's really sweet.
Yeah. She asks if he's sad, and he's like, yeah, I am. Later, Kyle is loitering outside Bill's quarters, and once inside, they both open fire. Riker's like, I've been polite, but now it's time for you to get the fuck out of here. And Kyle's like, Jesus Christ, son, we gotta talk this out. Drop your shields. And this leads to an agreement to beat the shit out of each other, American Gladiator and Bojitsu style, in the gym on Deck 12.
They're like, fine, you're on. Typical.
God. Mm-hmm.
If I were not a consummate professional and an android, I would find this entire procedure insulting.
Thanks, Data.
Man, can't nobody keep a secret on this fucking ship. They all know what's happening. Like, if it wasn't for Wesley knows everything that's happening with Riker and his father, and now Pulaski has heard that they're going to go beat the shit out of each other. So she calls Kyle into her office, and she's like, why? What is this I hear about you guys going to go at each other? Haven't we gotten past solving our problems with physical conflict? And, of course, he thinks she's overreacting.
She even tries the argument, Bill is in his prime, and you're old. And but that doesn't even work.
Crusty. You crusty.
Kyle says, don't worry, he's never been able to beat me. Put a pin in that.
Mm-hmm. The holodeck's getting some action on this on this episode, because the gang, the subplot gang, they're all in the holodeck and looking at this Klingon rite of ascension chamber. It's all red and dark and smoke going, and it looks really creepy. And
I love this. There's like space grate everywhere with loads of red like backlighting. I love it. This is like foundational Klingon look. Yeah.
There's some sort of, hard to explain, there's like a platform, two platforms facing each other, and a tunnel in the middle where someone is to walk down, and having people stand above them on each side. LaForge is like, is this really necessary? Yeah, if we want Worf to work through his problems, yeah, it is. So then they ask the computer for some real like Klingon people. So then they have 8 warriors, 4 on each side, that are standing on these platforms. And they've got these sticks, pain sticks, which I really would love to make one of those.
Yeah.
Instead of I want a bat'leth, but I also want a pain stick.
Hell yeah.
And so they're big dudes, Klingon warriors. And that's where I read that one of those is John Tesh from, I think it was like Entertainment Tonight or something. That he back in the 80s, John Tesh, he also played piano, I think, or so. I think he was like a singer. Anyway, he was such a Star Trek fan that he wanted to be a Klingon. So he's one of the Klingons.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would ever want fame and fortune, so that I could just call up big Star Trek and say,
"Can I be?
Hey, make me an alien."
Yeah.
You know?
Can I be in it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. You don't even have to give me any credit. I would be totally fine. So they're all talking about the pain sticks and what they're used for, and O'Brien knows all about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, those are Klingon pain sticks." And then he's like, "I saw them once used against a 2-ton Rectine monopod. Poor creature jumped 5 meters at the slightest touch." And he was going on about it, how it finally died of cephalic pressure. And Wesley's like, "Do you mean that?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that means his head exploded." Like, and then Pulaski's like, "Okay, that's enough."
I love this. This is such a like flashlight under the chin telling ghost stories around the campfire kind of story.
I was so digging these. Like all of them are there.
So good.
There was Geordi, there was Data, there was Pulaski was even there for him, and O'Brien and Wesley. And, they're all getting ready to be there for their friend.
Meanwhile, Troy is a sneaky bitch on this episode. Now they've enlisted her to once again provide a setup, and this time she's walking in very unsuspecting Worf towards the holodeck. But she does let on that they all know about this rite of ascension thing, and he's like, "You know about this? It's a secret known only to Klingons." And she says, "And resourceful young ensigns." And he's like, "Fucking Wesley Crusher. What has he done?"
Yeah.
But she leads him to the holodeck door, and then she turns to leave, and he's like, "Wait, you're not gonna come in with me?" And she's like, "No."
Fuck no. Yeah, she's a sneaky bitch. But I love that everyone is in on, even with everything else going on the ship, everyone's in on helping their friend.
So the doors open, and Worf is staring down the rite of ascension chamber. Klingons on either side, and at the back of the room, beneath the large Klingon emblem, Wesley, Geordi, Data, O'Brien, and Pulaski. And Worf steps into the channel between the Klingons on the raised platforms and begins speaking in Klingon, and then presumably repeats it in English, it kind of seems.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Today I am a warrior. I must show you my heart. I travel the river of blood." And the first two Klingons jab their pain sticks into Worf's sides. This is great. This is iconic TNG.
Yep. It's so good.
Data explains the true test of Klingon strength is to admit one's most profound feelings while under extreme duress. But then Worf doesn't really admit any profound feelings.
No, other than the battle is mine, I crave the blood of my enemies, and the bile of the vanquished flows over my hands. That's about as deep as he got. And each time he said something, he'd walk forward and the next two would sting him. And then he finally, at the end, collapses in front of his buds, and he says, "Thank you."
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Troy and Pulaski meet back up in the observation lounge, where in discussing Worf's successful pain stick punishment ceremony, Pulaski says she's glad that humans have progressed beyond that kind of barbaric nonsense. And Troy's like, "Okay, but your old boyfriend and my old boyfriend are up in the gym right now about to beat the shit out of each other, so maybe not."
Yeah.
And then Troy adds, "Fucking men, am I right?"
It's true.
Yeah. Her perception of human males is that fathers never really see their sons as adults.
Mm-hmm.
They'll always be children to them. And then there's some expectations between fathers and sons, which has a big effect. And then this kind of hit me weird. Pulaski says it's almost like they never really grow up at all. And Troy agrees, saying, "Yeah, maybe that's why we're so attracted to them." And I think I kind of get what they're going for here, but it just struck me as weird.
Maybe back then, but not now. Like, maybe that's the thinking back then, that what was attractive about men was their recklessness and their hot-headedness and stuff. But I can tell you, we don't want that shit now. We're done with that. Most women are done with that shit.
Anyway, they recognize they both seem to be attracted to the same sort of man, the Riker sort of man.
Mm. In the gymnasium, they are all dressed up in these like Power Ranger looking suits. I don't know how else to explain it.
Uh-huh.
Riker's in red and his father's in white and red. And they have this they have pain sticks of their own. It's some sort of jousting stick with a little knob on the end.
It seems like they're like electronic in some way, so that they detect each other.
Oh, yeah.
So that when they put them end to end, it like lights up red and makes a buzzing sound because they're doing this blind.
Right. They have a visor that they're going to put over their faces and they're not going to be able to see. But they have a brief exchange before they get started. You know, Riker remembers his early lessons, but he's had 15 years to practice. And Kyle wants to see if he's learned anything. So they say some Japanese, probably some bullshit Japanese. I mean, I don't know if it's real, but it's onegaishimasu. Onegaishimasu. And then they start fighting and they do some sort of little dance circle thing. And
I believe you'll find it's pronounced
Domo arigato, Mr. Mugato. I should have known. I should have known.
Bill lands a solid hit on Kyle's back and knocks his ass out of the ring. And Kyle gets up and Bill starts unloading the emotional baggage. He says, "You should have been the one to die, not her," referring to his mother. So it's a bit more barbaric than therapy, but perhaps we're getting some shit off our chests after all these years.
Is that how you get men to talk? Is you let them beat the shit out of each other? Back then?
That was the thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Round 2, Kyle lands a hit, but the visors come up and they finally start talking. Kyle says Bill was too young to understand and he was too hurt to explain it. And of course, Bill has a different perception of his father and all of this because his father never shared his feelings until now. She was Bill's mother, yeah, but she was Kyle's wife, and that loss hurt him, and he just wasn't able to talk about it. And then the only thing that kept him going was his son. But of course, his son didn't see that.
And then he left him at 15. Like, if you care so much, why were you not around? Anyway, that's me talking.
Another round of fighting, and this time Kyle sweeps the leg, and Bill's like, "Bullshit! That's an illegal move. I can't believe this whole time you always won because you were cheating." And there it is. This was Kyle's approach to parenting. He cheated at these fighting games to keep Bill interested, keep him coming back for more and trying to win. And now Kyle finally opens up emotionally. "She was your mother, but you were so young you hardly knew her. I'd known her for much longer, and I loved her." But he finally admits, we should have had this talk a long time ago. You know, fathers and sons. You know, what am I? What am I?
Am
gonna
I
do?
right? Fathers and sons. Am I right?
Yeah. He's like, "It's stupid. I can talk to a whole fleet of admirals about literally anything, but I can't talk to you about how I feel." And Bill says, "Well, how do you feel?" And he says, "I love you, son." And they finally embrace.
Goodness.
Well, Kyle's got to get going, and Bill's happy now that he came. So we've kind of reconciled a little bit.
Yeah, the analytical team have fucked off back down to the surface, and they didn't find anything. So guess what they suggested? Hey, Data's original idea was to reprogram the system to correct the readout variables, like Data said. So all's good there. So they're on the bridge, and Picard is talking to the rest of the team like Riker's already accepted it. And he's like, now that Riker's accepted, we can leave him at Starbase Montgomery. And then here comes Riker saying, with your permission, I've decided to stay.
Picard asks why the change of heart, and Riker says, "Motivated self-interest. Right now, the best place for me to be is here." Off to the next adventure.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'll be glad to be relieved of this cargo.
Me too.
It is done, and perhaps just as well.
Yeah, but you know, I learned something today.
I sincerely hope that this is the last time that I find myself here.
You just don't get it, do you, Jean-Luc? You see, of all the species, yours cannot abide stagnation. Change is at the heart of what you are. That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
I wonder, did he come to a realization that he didn't want to be like his dad, or like I don't know, like or he just wasn't ready, or was it Troy that was cute? We don't know. We
Yeah,
really
we
don't
don't
know.
really. Yeah, we don't really know. Fathers and sons and their difficult relationships. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This would have been a great episode to discuss with Adam Nimoy,
Oh man, yeah, it would have. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this when we talked to him, but like again, it always makes me think about I was raised as a boy until I figured out my shit, and so I guess I kind of had that stereotypical father-son relationship for most of my life. Well, really, for his whole life.
Yeah. Didn't talk about your feelings or any of that
Yeah.
stuff, and
He opened up very, very occasionally. I can remember him crying when they found out that I had gotten my girlfriend pregnant when I was in high school.
oh,
And that is like the most emotion I had ever remembered seeing in him.
that's that's bonkers. But that
Yeah. And if you talk to my mother, I'm sure that wasn't it. I'm sure there was more, but my perception, like Bill's, being the child having that perception,
Mhm.
is different than what the adults might have seen.
And maybe he talked to her but didn't say it to you.
Right.
And of course in Riker's situation that he didn't have a mom for Kyle to talk
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
It's
Like I knew my dad loved me. That was never a question.
Mhm.
You know, that was never a question. But it was just that men that era of men don't show feelings. Men don't show positive feelings.
That stereotype.
Anger we can show, frustration, all negative kind of emotions. That's acceptable for men to show, but for men to like love and be sad and cry and that kind of stuff was not acceptable.
Yeah, be vulnerable. Yeah,
Yeah.
and for some reason there was that thought process that oh that makes you weak as a man, and I'm
Right.
like we're busting the shit out of that today, or we're at least we're trying to get out of that thinking with our new generation.
When we say toxic masculinity, that's the kind of shit I mean.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is.
Yeah. The idea that we have to go up to the gym and beat the fuck out of each other in order to talk is toxic masculinity.
Yeah, and then you'll never hear about it again, and then all is resolved. Whereas
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
but then you have the other side of the coin where Klingons are nothing but toxic masculinity. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're
Yeah.
that is their culture, and but their friends are showing so much empathy by allowing him
Mhm.
by creating an opportunity for him to go through this toxic masculinity ritual
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
that he feels better.
I think the relationship with the Rikers, I think we are meant to come away from this and go, wow, well, that doesn't work.
Mhm.
Now I need Star Trek to show us an example
right
of how
way.
it could work better. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also how I think in the beginning when O'Brien said something about well you can choose your friends and stuff but you can't choose your family. In this case, they stood in for his family.
You can
As
choose your
you
family.
can choose your family by
Yeah.
yeah, and then in the relationship can be amazing because it's chosen as opposed to, you know, um I love the episode. I love the whole subplot
Mhm.
with Worf and the gang. So
Yeah, Worf's thing for me, I thought of like they say, he's culturally isolated. There are no other
Mhm.
Klingon people around, and we don't come from his culture, so we don't really understand the ritual and why it's important and all of that. And like, I think about minority cultures in America,
yeah.
and you know,
And because they loved him,
yeah,
they made an effort. So that is I think Star Trek is showing us what you should do when
hmm
you love someone is you make an effort to make to tell them how you feel or show them how you feel as opposed to Kyle who was not
yes,
like sure you might have loved him. You might have loved Riker, but you did nothing to show him show him the way that he needed to be shown.
Yes.
Of how that you loved him. And I don't know. It's such a good episode.
Yeah, I agree. But did anybody die in this episode?
No one died.
Good.
Yeah, my creativity is like shot because I've been killing it with the rhymes, and it's
been so good lately.
It's been so much fun. But yeah, nobody died, so I'll give you all a break this week.
All right.
We can handle all the pleasantries later. Now, let's get down to business.
I am willing to pay handsomely for you.
I think you've had a little too much to drink.
Now, what do you know about my money?
Your money?
The money he stole!
You stole his money?
Those vouchers I gave you were every bit as good as Latinum.
You can spend Latinum almost anywhere. Those vouchers are only good at your bar.
Well, then we want to thank everybody who supports the show. And a special thank you to our founding admirals, Allie, Peter, Sarah, Bruce, the Bear, and Keurig Podcast, and some call him Tim. Thank you all again so much for supporting our show.
Thank you so much, guys.
Captain, Starfleet Academy is requesting an update on our estimated arrival.
Finalists, please take your seats.
I must admit you have a very fast mind.
Once I realized it was a trick question, there was only one answer.
Although only one student will be chosen for the Academy, any of you could easily qualify. Candidates, good luck.
You got called to the superintendent's office. It's a story I'd like to hear.
Becca's back now with the answer to this week's Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge. Question for the Icarus Factor. Remind us the question.
Mitchell Ryan, who played Kyle Riker in this episode, was originally a top studio choice to play which series regular?
What did we say?
Sarah said Picard and Allie said Transporter Chief.
Okay, and the right answer is...
it was Picard. It's Picard.
It's Picard.
Affirmative.
That was a fucking guess, too. Complete guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
weird.
I could see him. He fits the admiral sort of stereotype that they've cast for admirals before. Like that, he totally fits that.
It's that old white guy syndrome.
Yeah,
yeah.
But he's got that preacher hair, and it wouldn't have just it wouldn't have fit with
No, I don't think it would have worked.
Just because we've got Picard now, and I'm glad that they didn't do that because it's just I don't know if it would have felt right.
Right. It's like Genevieve Buchholz from that was going to be Captain Janeway, and that just didn't work out, and for good reason.
Yeah.
Same idea, I think. Next time, we'll be reviewing Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 15, Pen Pals. Data races against time to save the life of a little alien girl on a planet doomed for destruction. I do remember this one. The little alien girl's got a lot of ham on her face, and she's on speaking of ham, she's on like a ham radio calling out, and Data picks up the signal, and they talk on the phone for a little bit, and he finds out that her planet is being destroyed or something, and so they race to save her, but it turns out something about the way this communication works, it came from the past somehow.
Oh, this sounds
so by the
familiar
time
now.
they get there, the
She's already
whole
dead.
civilization's already gone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And sadly, I didn't remember any of that until you said it. So, because I couldn't tell anything from the description. I do not remember that well enough to answer a question. So,
Not that it'd matter anyway.
That's
What's our
true.
question for Pen Pals?
You're right. It doesn't matter anyway.
See?
This whole episode doesn't even matter for this question. It's just the setup.
Damn it.
This is the first episode where we see Picard actually drink Earl Grey tea. We saw him order it in the previous episode, but what happened that made him unable to drink the tea?
Oh, I know this.
I do too.
We know this.
Right. It shit out a houseplant.
Yeah, because they had a virus, and the computer was doing whatever the fucking computer wanted to do, and it gave him a plant.
Yeah. Houseplant Earl Grey hot. Final answer.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching that, I'm like, oh, is that the first time?
Yeah.
He ordered it.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get to drink it.
All right. Well, we could still be wrong, and you could still come up with funny answers, and we'll pick out a winner from those. If you go to your socials and share out this episode with the hashtag Starfleet Challenge in your answer, or give us a call, 920-550-TREK, or you can leave us a message at our website as well. There's lots of ways to get in touch with us, so send us your answer. The funnier, the better. And next week, we'll discuss Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 15, Pen Pals.
Glory to your house.
Make it so, number one.
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcasts. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Trek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.